Hi, Zizaran here with another video for 326 Secrets of the Atlas, and this is going to be a video about your Atlas. So we are going to have starter atlases to get you started with both sustain and getting your progression unlocked, and then we're going to have a few different atlases that you can run for profit. I'll also talk a little bit about what I'm doing, but either way, enjoy. So this is a 27-point starter. It rushes straight up to commissioned officer, takes all the right side things for more Kirac completion down here, and I'll explain why the Kirac missions are so important later. Then this one, it'll give you blighting scouting reports, which is kind of useful, but other than that, it's kind of whatever. Here is additional map sustain. This is very important. It'll basically, let's say you're running a tier 5 map, tier 10 map, whatever, and a tier 8 map was about to drop. It can, if it has a 100% chance to be one tier higher, it'll be a tier 9 map instead. And let's say you get to 150% or whatever, then it has a chance to be a tier 10 map. So very useful for keeping your map pool high tier. Later on, when you have a lot of things in the map that can drop things and you're really like alching your maps and stuff, then you won't need these type of nodes as much. So now, quickly, let's talk a little bit about Kirac and just your progression. You can skip this part if you're already familiar with 3-to-1ing and just very quickly finishing your Atlas. Every time you open these, you will have different Kirac missions. You can hold Alt to see which ones you have or haven't completed. The mission themselves, I completely ignore. I did not look at that at all personally, but there are some useful rewards. Make sure that you're able to run the maps you're picking, and he also sells a bunch of maps. Can't exactly remember when they do the reset for just completion, but that's not that important because you can force reset his shop by opening one. So if you see now, these are here, but now that the new map have opened, there's a new set of maps. So using that is very, very important. Another thing I really want to show you is 3-to-1ing. So let's do a clean atlas with no void stones for that. So this is precinct. It's here. Selling 3 precincts can become any natural tier 8 map. So natural means without void stones. So it can become a vault, a shipyard, a colonnade. And without getting too complicated, just think of every physical item, like this one, has their unique item ID. And it's kind of random what different item IDs turn into. You just play around with it, you'll sort of get how it works. So these 3 precincts, no matter how I put these in, will always become a wharf, right? That's like the sum of their item ID. But then if I put in this now, it becomes an arsenal. This becomes a wharf still. This becomes a wharf. This becomes a vault. But now I can remove that one and it's a whole new item ID. Arsenal, tropical island, scriptorium, tropical island. So you can understand now that by having like 8 and playing around with different combinations, then you can basically get any map of the tier above. So playing around with that, super useful for your early completion. Here is another one. So this is Niko with shrines, and there's a few different benefits here. But this is really nice early, and yeah, I'll talk about a few different things. So blocking ritual is very common early, especially on hardcore if you're low chaos res. So much chaos damage and you can very easily die repeatedly. I do, however, like leaving this unticked whenever I'm at the point that I actually can just kill them. I don't interact with ritual still, however. I only actually interact with ritual whenever I invest points into it. Then you might be thinking, well, why not just block it then? Well, it costs a point, and it does block the scarabs, which if I have no intention of running ritual, that part is nice. But just the ritual monsters that I'm killing, they can drop omens. So sometimes I'll just get like a 6-thing omen or a trash to treasure omen, the one that guarantees a unique, just by killing the monsters that are inside the ritual. And they're just like a little bit extra stuff in the map. So I like not blocking them once my character's tanky enough. Ultimatum, I like blocking this because of the scarab thing. I had previously had like a video where ideally blocking things does nothing outside of like extreme min-maxing because you can just not run it. I am aware that a lot of people just, if they see a legion, they have to run it. But you'll notice that, for example, I will see a legion. If I'm not invested into legion, I'm not touching that because it's so inefficient running that. Let's say that I'll visualize it in divines. Let's say there's something you're specialized into as a min-maxer, can be 10 divines an hour, but then that would lower my divines per hour to like 5 if I started also running my like unspec'd legion, because it's still quite slow and there's no chance of profiting without really min-maxing it. So that's sort of the logic behind that, but you know, As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Niko and taking these things in these nodes, extremely good at all points. That is because of this node, 35% damage, 15 movement speed, and +1 max stress for 60 seconds every time you click Soulfight, which is huge for your early power. It's just like over 100%. It's 115% damage. No, 105. Math is hard. 105% damage, the res and the speed. It's just so nice for early progression. You can use this for like Elder Guardians and stuff as well. So it makes a big difference. Oh, you can also use this for the new memories. The new memory bosses use your Atlas. So if you have 100% chance for Niko or close to, it'll be there. There is another benefit of Niko as well. There is a divination card, which is 1 out of 1, and it gives you 10 alterations. I would say I've had over 600 alterations from that this season because I've had Niko on my Atlas the entire season. So it makes a big difference for that. Here is really nice for your delve progression because you are having Niko anyway. It'll basically just give you a ton of Azerite. And now you're thinking, well, what if you don't want to run delve at all? Doesn't matter. You can go to Niko and just buy resonators and sell that. This is literally just passive income while you're mapping anyway. Here we have more sustain for your Atlas. And then you can see we have a bunch of shrine nodes. These will also give you a lot of power early, and they'll help with sustain because all of these monsters can drop maps. And it's a lot of power. You'll very often get acceleration shrine. It'll last a long time. And yeah, it's quite nice. Here is more Sulfite. So again, these nodes you would only take if you're actually planning to run delve. But even without that, let's say that you remove these, this is still a really good Atlas for your start because of the extra power you get and alterations. So this is going to be an expedition tree, focuses a lot on early progression, early gearing and currency. Rug crafting is really good too and is fairly intuitive even as a new player. Sort of tells you what to do and you're looking for good bases. But either way, so we grab a lot of expedition here. We grab some sustain still. Scarab, we have shrines, all the expedition nodes here, still shrines. And then here you have some choice. If you're finding that like you're making them really rippy and scary with this one, you can go around here as well and you'll have like loads of large explosives. It's a little bit more work and you can place them like around easier, but I like that. But I know a lot of people love extreme archaeology. Both are good options. And then here you can focus on it being led by Tuyen and Danig. Danig obviously gives you just currency and logbooks for the others, and Tuyen, King of Currency. Gwenin, kind of useless, not worth in my opinion. You can get a Mage Blood, but you know, you're not going to. Rug, just so good for crafting. I really like it, especially because it can give borderline mirror-worthy item, because one of the options he has is upgrades every mud to its highest tier. It is very rare. I've only had it 4 or 5 times, but whenever you get that on a good item, you get insane items. So this is a really, really good tree for early starting, and very similar to my starting tree, where you can also pivot into Betrayal, because you can see you have Betrayal here, here, and I believe it's here. So very easy to pivot into Betrayal, and the last node is here. So very, very easy to do Expedition and Betrayal, which is literally the tree I have. Next up, we have Essence. Essence is really the king of money. It'll just always be sold, whether they're 1C each or 3 or 7. Sometimes they're really expensive. Sometimes they're really cheap, but it's just something people always want. And a lot of people don't want to farm essences themselves, especially because they're really hard to farm in tier 16s. You really want to farm these in tier 6 maps because that's when you can find the highest tier. And essences obviously become super dangerous in tier 16s. But if you... a good example is Ayiza and Goblin, 2 RuneScape community managers. They've been playing hardcore trade. They were asking for advice last season, and they were like, "Sis, we're really struggling. It's really hard. Can you give us some tips?" And I gave them an Essence Atlas, told them what to do, told them to farm this and come back to me when they had like 100 C each, and I'd help them with like some gearing and give them some tips and tricks because they're really good players. They just need like some pointers in the right direction. They just a few hours later came back with 200 C, and then we were able to scale that up, turn it into a full Essence industry, and less than a week they had like 100 divines each, or at least 30. It was a lot. If you're really able to just hunker down and grind Essence, it's insane money. So there's a few essence mods that we're using. So this one is just +1 essence. This one is whenever essence is killed, it goes into the boss. Again, why we want to be in tier 6 maps. And then amplified energies, that it's highest possible tier. So it means you get a deafening. You can see we still have some shrine nodes here, just extra density. That would not be the most important part of this atlas. More sustain. These give you the comprehensive scouting reports. These are really good for getting, well, anything, especially like Doriani's Machinarium and stuff. Crystal Lattice and Prison Monsters have a chance to have 3 additional essences. This can be pretty rippy. So this atlas gives you a ton of money, even without scarabs. And obviously this is something you can scale up with using essence scarabs. And yeah, just can be very, very profitable. I'll real quick show my atlases as well, and you can see mine's very similar to one of the ones we showed. So I've been in a little bit of a rush now, so it's terribly inefficient, and I'm going to make it a little bit better, but I'll explain the idea behind it. We went for Niko and some Soul Fight. I have Expedition in this atlas, and I was farming Betrayal, but I have a new Betrayal atlas now. We have as much harvest chance as I can get. I don't think I have 100%, it's close to though. We have the Soul Fight power here. I did the thing here with not taking Extreme Archaeology, and then more Harvest. So I am running tier 16s for clarity. Still have these. I probably will get rid of this entire thing here now. Also, Fortune Favor the Bold. This was really nice because one of the options in the new memory threads is that it's free. So I was just getting, you know, the expensive Fortune Favors the Bold, but for free. Really nice. Loads of quant. This is really important for me in hardcore early because since we're going to tier 16s within like 10 hours of launch, we have very bad gear and we have to roll the maps blue, right? So you try to get as much quant as possible. So in the start, I didn't even have harvest stuff. I just went straight through here for the quantum rarity. That actually helps early on. I have more expedition. And I was farming the new memory things, so I had these. By the way, TDD, please make these 100. It's crazy that they're not. I also had Eater, because I was very desperate for Divines. I was hoping to get that here. More Harvest. And that was pretty much my starter tree, so I will have to redefine this a little bit, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of what I was doing. This is my current tree for Betrayal. As much Betrayal as I can. I'm also focusing on Scarabs, because I don't really want to farm any other mechanic. Right? Because the more you do of something else, the less you're doing of what you want to be doing. I want a bunch of essences in SF and it's hard to get. And then I've been doing this. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, I guess. I should maybe throw some ghosts in so I get a little bit more dust. But yeah, that is what I'm doing at the moment. But either way, I hope these atlases help you have a good league start and make a lot of currency to buy the stuff you need early on. Sub if you liked the video. But more importantly, try to die less than I do.